Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLugo. Thanks so much for being here Monday, May 5th. Happy Cinco de Mayo. May the 4th be with you, obviously, from yesterday. Right now, we're taking a look at Jaguars' third-round pick, but their second pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. Not a lot of fans knew who Caleb Ransaw was when the Jaguars took him with the 88th overall pick in the 2025 Draft. So we're going to talk about exactly what Caleb Ransaw brings to the Jaguars, in my opinion, his strengths, maybe where there's question marks, all that good stuff. We're going to dive into it. Really appreciate you tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Obviously, we're all Jags all the time here. If you want to support the channel further, you can check out genjag.com/shop, pick up some new Duval gear. We did drop an F Them Picks pre-order. Again, genjag.com/shop. So, Caleb Ransaw, when the Jaguars took him at 88 overall, I remembered him from the Senior Bowl. I'd watched a little bit of his tape at Tulane, not one of those guys I dove deep into, but obviously, since the Jaguars picked him, done a lot more digging into his tape and into his Senior Bowl performance, right? And I'll tell you this, I don't think that this was a reach by the Jaguars at all, based on everything that you have in terms of your ability to evaluate, which again is the tape, the Senior Bowl, and the Combine. I think he had a really good pre-draft process, and that really helped him out in a lot of ways. At the Senior Bowl, he was playing a ton of deep safety during the game, lining up in single high, and then also some two high as well. And I thought that was one of the big reasons he went on day two, honestly. But let's start from Tulane tape 2024 to Senior Bowl to the Combine. To me, somebody who primarily played in the slot this past year at Tulane, but did play outside prior to transferring to Tulane. At Troy, he played outside quite a bit, and he followed his coaching staff over from Troy to Tulane, which is the reason he transferred, but also gave him an opportunity to play a little bit higher level of competition. Even though Tulane's not like the SEC, it is still a step up in competition. But it's cool to know that this is a guy that, again, at the Senior Bowl, primarily played safety, has played nickel extensively, has played outside corner as well. So you've got all that versatility in your back pocket, and he's talked about it since being taken by the Jaguars in his meetings with the media. He's talked about he just wants to bring versatility. He wants to play wherever he can. But the Jaguars, James Gladstone, has talked about him at safety, getting him going at safety early on. And I think there's a good reason for that. But looking at the Tulane tape, you can see the length on tape. It helps in his tackle radius. It helps with his physicality with receivers throughout routes. It also helps him trying to take on blocks. A lot of guys that are playing nickel, that are playing corner, don't have great length. And so not only are they smaller and not as strong as a tight end or an offensive lineman that's trying to get hands on them, but they also have a big length disadvantage. Caleb Ransaw does not have that length disadvantage, which does help him quite a bit. And again, when you have longer arms, it does help with your tackle radius as well. And one thing, when you look at like the numbers for him, the statistical production, it is very difficult to play nickel at any level, especially when you're playing in man-to-man coverage. It is very hard to play nickel. And not only is it hard to cover from the nickel position in man-to-man coverage, because you have three different directions that a guy can go. If you're an outside corner, the sideline is your friend. Guys can't go outside. You can use that boundary as your friend if you know what you're doing. But if you're playing nickel, they can go up the field, they can go left, they can go right, and that makes it incredibly difficult, again, especially in man coverage. But I was really impressed with his long speed. I think that shows up, especially when you're talking about him making plays from the other side of the field. His effort and strain, which goes into making plays from the other side of the field, but also, doing the dirty work, trying to get off blocks. Against Navy, He aligned a lot in this kind of like pseudo edge overhang safety type of role where Navy runs a lot of this option and misdirection stuff, and he was having to kind of be that edge setter and make those good decisions and reads against some of those trickeration and misdirection type plays that Navy runs. I thought that was a big assignment for him, and super impressed with his tackling. He is a form tackler to the T, right? Like shoulder, leading with the shoulder, head up, wrapping up. It's a thing of beauty to watch him tackle in space, in the box, wherever it may be. Caleb Ransaw is a really, really good tackler. And again, as I mentioned, it's tough to like have really good stats as a nickel corner, especially if you're playing in man coverage. It's difficult to pick passes off, to make plays on the ball in that regard, because you've got your back to the quarterback. You don't know when the ball's coming out. You don't know where it's coming out. You don't know what direction this guy's going. So there's just a lot that goes into that. But overall, just based on his tape from the slot this past year, I would have said early day 3, because you see so many of the physical traits. You see a guy who's smart, who plays tough, physical, fast, does not miss tackles. I think his missed tackle rate is like 5%, which for a corner, whether you're playing nickel or outside, that is just really rare. But the NFL was smart. They wanted him to play some safety at the Senior Bowl. And I honestly think it made him a ton of money. I think that made him a day 2 pick, seeing him being able to play safety. Because based on what I've said about him, could you project that he could play safety? Yeah. Seeing it, even though it was a limited sample size, about 42 snaps at the Senior Bowl, in terms of actual live reps, he was lights out. Like, he was unbelievable. And I'm not being hyperbolic. He made a lot of game-changing plays at the Senior Bowl during that football game, from deep safety, too high, coming down in the box. There's just so many highlight plays that he had in that one. He had to make a tackle in the hole. And I think if he would have missed it, Ollie Gordon might have been gone. And Ollie Gordon's a big back. It's like a 230-pound back. Form tackle, stops him in his tracks. It's a big hit. You can hear it. He had to come from depth and make that play, and absolutely stoned him, right? Tackled our guy, Bashal Tootin, a couple times as well with ease. Didn't have a problem getting him to the ground. And what he did in coverage was great from the safety spot as well. He had a pass defended on Jalen Lane up the middle on 3rd and 10, was all over him. No separation. And at the point of attack, or at the catch point, Jalen Lane just didn't have any chance, because Caleb Ransaw, every bit the athlete Jalen Lane is, and much, much bigger, much, much taller. He picked off a pass in the end zone from our guy Tyler Shuck from the New Orleans Saints. Kind of jumped the route, rolling from right to left, took it back 27 yards, a throw that Tyler Shuck shouldn't have made, but Caleb Ransaw made him pay. He just didn't see him, I would say. He didn't see Caleb kind of rotating back in the coverage. Also locked up Jalen Knoll on the slot, or in the slot on the goal line. Pass breakup in the end zone, Jalen Knoll, Houston Texan, right? So there was so many impressive plays, and he did give up a pass down the field. You can't deny that, but it was not playing safety. It was playing corner. And that was against Jacksonville zone, Duval zone, Pat Bryant, who ended up going to the Broncos. I'm not worried about that, because I don't think you're playing corner if you're Caleb Ransaw in Jacksonville. I think, it's good to have that versatility, but Caleb Ransaw is playing safety, in my opinion. And that's kind of what James Gladstone alluded to after he was drafted. And I think when you take everything you saw on tape, what you saw at the Senior Bowl, and then what you saw at the Combine, a guy who tested out of his mind at the Combine, 4.33 40-yard dash at 5'11", 197 pounds, 1.52 10 split, 40-inch vertical jump, 10.9 broad jump, 16 bench press reps. He had himself a day at the Combine, and I think obviously the tape is pretty good. the Senior Bowl, playing safety, the combine, testing out of his mind, that put him into a different category the way you think about him. Like when you think about him as a free safety, as a too-high safety, what are his limitations? I don't know. And it would be amazing if we got to see him play more safety in college because you didn't really see that. But again, when you're putting this entire picture together, I think it's possible that they got a steal in Caleb Ransaw. Because you got somebody who sees the game well, plays the game well, physical, strain, unbelievable athlete. We've seen him come down and tackle from depth, and that's something that's difficult for safeties. A lot of safeties who aren't like thumpers, which you would see Caleb Ransaw's body type and you wouldn't necessarily expect him to be a thumper, but he kind of plays like it, but he's also got that range back there to make plays all over the field, the effort, all of it. I think Caleb Ransaw is going to be an immediate starter for the Jaguars in the secondary at safety. I think him and Eric Murray are going to be the starters this year. Eric Murray, more of the box guy. Caleb Ransaw, more of the deep safety. Obviously, you'll have a lot of zone looks. I think this secondary is built to play a lot of zone. Can they play man? Yes. Will they have to play man at times? Yes. But Tyson Campbell with his eyes in the backfield, Caleb Ransaw being able to play center field and see everything in front of him. I like it. I like a lot of what I see here. Obviously, I don't think necessarily Eric Murray is a needle mover. Is Travis Hunter playing? How much corner is Travis Hunter playing early on? I don't know. But Jarian Jones, Jordan Lewis, Tyson Campbell, Travis Hunter when he's out there, and now Caleb Ransaw, those are guys I think can make a really positive impact for the Jaguars. So I think they may have gotten a steal. And it ultimately comes down to whether or not he can play instinctively from the safety spot the way he did at the Senior Bowl. Can he do that consistently in Jacksonville at the NFL level? Because if he can do that, he has all the physical traits, all the effort, the tackling ability. He's got it all. I mean, it's an impressive package. So I can't wait to see what he does throughout training camp and preseason. And again, I think he's going to start right away for the Jaguars at safety. And I think he has a chance to be a really good one. It's just going to come down to whether or not he can play instinctively. Because being an incredible athlete at the safety position is awesome. It's great at any position in the NFL. But safety is one of the more instinctive positions where you have to play mentally fast. And if you can be a great football player without being a great athlete. But if you can play mentally fast and be the great athlete that Caleb Ransaw is and play with the toughness that he does, I mean, it's going to be hard to beat you. So I'm excited about him. Don't want to put the cart before the horse, but I think the Jaguars may have gotten a steal in Caleb Ransaw, somebody who probably deserved to be a second-round pick when you're looking at him through the lens of him playing safety in the NFL. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Y'all have a good one.